So it's quite late and I can't help to shake off these thoughts off my head. And I know some of you have seen this Tupaba's recent clip of him being incoherent and apologizing to his wife. And I really have paid attention to people's view on this, and to them completely going off script. This is going to be conversational, and of course I had to drag him. I was like, you know what? Let's just sit down and have this conversation, because if you ask me, and a lot of people have told the moral side, and a lot of people have gone, oh, Captain Seveho, let's save Twoface. We need to protect a black king. And I get them, right? And by the way, before I proceed, because I've done the previous, I've done a cover on the story when it started. You know, that infamous post he made about his divorce of his wife. Like him coming on the internet, we didn't know. It wasn't our business. I know some people be like, why do you guys care so much, sir? You made it our business, sir. Sir, I was sitting in my house and you brought your wahala, because all these years of singing African Queen, all these years of making people feel like, oh, you were in love. You and Idibia were in love. Like, you literally invented one love for a reason. I mean, some of us felt like the love was more on her side. But none of us believe you actually loved her. Not why you put her through all those things you did, publicly and privately. I mean, some people do. A lot of people did believe that they ate that shit up, right? So for the sake of context, for those who are just joining this gist recently, I will start from the beginning. Okay, it all started with Nedu's podcast, where he asks Twoface the constant, frequent questions he's always asked, and he has always stand on his 10 toes about how possible would it be for a man to love a woman and not cheat. And Tubaba, in his usual manner, said that it's possible for a man to love a woman, but it's impossible for a man to be faithful to the woman.
Possible to be loyal and be two-faced.
Nedu, as it goes again, I understand.
Is it possible to be a loyal man to a woman?
Well, I've said this a couple of places before. I got into trouble for it, but I didn't care about that.
Fuck it, say it.
Man, no fit. I don't know. I know fit, but I will talk for my own self. I don't go talk about. But man, not they built to just sexually
deal with one woman.
A man is not built to be
heart
one woman.
and love. If you give
Calm down.
Heart, love, respect, and say, oh, this person is my person. It fit. But sexually, it's impossible for man.
So what you're trying to say is that a man cannot be with one woman sexually.
Yes.
And this has always been his consistent word. Of course, this does not generate outrage as it should, but what really generated the outrage was his apology, which shook the internet, and we are here to discuss it now.
I know I fucked up what I said. I really fucked up what I said. I know I'm going to get cancelled. I'm going to get cancelled for this. I know I'm going to pay the price, heavy price. I'm going to face the consequences. I said what I said. I don't know whether I want people understand my understanding. And I didn't say appropriately. There's no excuse for it. I own up to that. I own up to the fact that I fucked about what I said. I hurt my fans, millions of people that look up to me, hold me in high esteem. Like friends and people that know me, they know that this is not me. This is not me. Terribly sorry for allowing myself get how do I put it now? Riled up into saying people nonsense. It's crazy. But one thing I know for sure is I'm sorry to my wife, the love of my life, Natasha. She's amazing. She's amazing. She's wonderful, smart. You know, I'm so sorry. And also to my kids, man. You know, beautiful young people. I don't deserve this kind of thing that I put them into. I'm Twoface Idibia. I'm too Baba. And I've been fortunate enough to have achieved a whole lot. I've been fortunate enough to have people look up to me. I've been fortunate enough to have people calling me a legend. It's an honor. You know, but this my talk was quite unlegendary. And for me, man, I own up to my mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I own up to my mistakes. I know I'm going to get cancelled. I'm going to pay the heavy consequence, heavy price. You know, but I just must express myself. Something that I thought just, you know, Gen Z will look at it like cruise, or like to spark up something. But the amount of, you know, response that I get has let me see how much people love me, how much people love and respect me. You know, for me to not use one stupid statement to cancel everything. That's not who I am. The people that know me know that that's not who I am. And you talk some guys, just talk out. I'm not cut out for interview shit. You know, my music speaks for me. My music speaks for me. You listen to my music, I know you'll be wondering, is this the same person that said this thing? Is that the same person that said this thing? I know. But hey, I fucked up my statement, man. Fucked up my statement. It is well.
Mind you, this is not the first time Twoface have said it. He has also said this in Young, Rich, and Famous, where his wife was there.
I'm misunderstanding you. Is this how you feel in your relationship?
This is what
That's
I
what she's
feel.
saying.
This is what I think.
That's what he's saying, yeah.
Reason.
No, hold up.
In your relationship.
I don't
That's what he was trying to
necessarily
get
do it,
to. That's all I said.
I know that this is like
how men are wired.
yes. Men are wired like that. A man would love a woman to hell.
100%.
Or maybe he's somewhere.
Yeah.
His dick will just decide something.
No, he's mine, not his dick. It's not his own entity.
However you look at it.
Yeah.
He will fuck.
Even if he's married
But
and
he
he's
will not even
committed.
give a fuck about that person. He just wants to
Is
suck.
that us? Yeah, you're talking about generally or you're talking about yourself? That's what
Is this what you believe or you're talking about Jimmy?
It's what I believe.
But is that your you or is that belief?
Do you see those two clips? They sound alike. They do. But the tone in which it was delivered was different, which I will discuss much later. But Nedu, jogging from one podcaster to another. Why is it that your podcast is always putting someone in trouble? Because at this point, all the goes critical. I was thinking, not be only you waka come now.
I thought Nidu has left podcast since. Why is he back? I was surprised he's back.
No more. I'm like, no, but he needs to be studied. Anytime someone comes to his podcast, there's always problem. There's Bodge, there is even Tasha, there is different, you name it. But you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking they just should extend his podcast. Let me read some of these our pastors. I want to hear their thoughts, right?
Yes, because it's like when people go on podcasts, they become too comfortable. Are we not comfortable on our podcast?
No, now you know our own is not
Itty or messy podcast.
like that. So maybe there's still room for that, or maybe we're not even that comfortable.
Well, I'm talking about have you noticed, especially Nedu's podcasts, maybe other podcasters, they don't fall victim as much as over yarning. What do you think causes it?
I don't know. Well, if you ask me, I would think is I would think maybe is the fact that when you know there's this level of familiarity that comes with podcasts. It's almost engaging, it's almost intimate, it's almost it almost gives this radio vibe. Before you do it, you probably forget. When you're gisting with your friends now, and that's the podcast vibe, right? When you're gisting with your friends, your guards are down. You're not always censoring your words. You are just out there. So I feel like sometimes, and then the breakfast bunch, Abby. I've forgotten their podcast name. I'll remember that later. But it's something bunch, right? I feel like to an extent they know how to get their guests to a corner where you start releasing some information where you will not even release. Even Yvonne even had problem. Yvonne Jegede, she had problem when she went there too. That one was missing yarning. And I feel like a lot of times when you're comfortable, you hear people's thought, right? You hear people's thoughts. I feel like that is what generates that. But other than that, I think it's okay. It's just people should guide I won't even say guide their thought. I like every little bit of it. But we digress. As for me, that's why I always maintain this notion that don't meet your hero unless you be disappointed, because most of them you admire them from far. Then when you come close to them, you realize that they really, really do have low IQ and low EQ. And I'm not even the smartest in the room, right? But there's sometimes some people say something to be like, damn, I think I preferred you when I just saw you in the screen or saw you singing "You're My African Queen" without necessarily hearing your opinion. But what can I say? Even the legendary apologize for not doing legendary things. Who am I?
Okay, so Amakara, let's go back to where we stopped. He was saying that Twoface has always been consistent with his rhetoric until his recent change by apologizing for what we all know him as, the father of many nations.
I'm dead. The father of many nations. You know what? I'll stick with that. And now that you put it that way, now I'm beginning to think maybe this is why people were coming for him, because for you to always say this and now all of a sudden apologize, brother must be going through.
But jokes aside, even when the lady there was trying to let him understand the significant effect of possibly exposing your woman to diseases, right? He was still adamant and persistent and continued to say that all you needed was just protection.
We have diseases out there in the world that have killed women.
Yes.
We have these men, right, that go out there and leave children all over this world that are not being taken care of. How are we condoning such behavior that comes from a man being allowed to go and satisfy women everywhere?
Well,
when they are living heartache and diseases.
If you drive car, you need to put your seatbelts on, right?
If you're driving
So
a car.
what
But
I'm
you
saying,
guys
what
have
I'm saying
failed to
has
put
nothing
your
to do.
seatbelts on.
What exactly? What I'm saying has that you have to be responsible. You have to be responsible.
I was like, wow. But sir, evidence day that you are not much of a king to protection. Otherwise, why so many baby mamas, right? Because yes, I understand. Granted, he said not everybody's holy, right? Men have temptation, right? But even the men that actually practice it and have some form of rumors or care of their partner try to also take some measure of precaution for themselves, right? They use protection, right? And you notice that because, and I know some men do, their pull-out game is 100%, but I'm not talking about those ones either. I'm talking about the ones that use protection and sometimes don't even frequent or indulge in the act, in the extramarital curriculum. They don't go that far. You know? And it's funny how you want to indulge in it and still claim you love the woman. You are hurting emotionally, mentally, and psychologically. So, judging all the situation now, I'm like, okay, sir, just so you know, I promise and I swear not to interrupt your peace. I just want to have a little bit of conversation, critical thinking, and to find out if I'm the only one wondering this, right? And I'm not, but why do people feel like they have to save Baba from something? If you have seen the video.
The man I saw there is not Twoface. Even the youth one he did. I will use the word of Pano. That person is a clone. No, I'm serious. Twoface is the shadow of himself. When I saw that clip, I was embarrassed. Do you know what Twoface is?
No, tell me.
Legend. Now in Baba go there, he got to talk anyhow. No, something must be wrong somewhere.
So what do you mean? Is it that I need to understand? Baba is happily married. Okay? He's happily married. He has told us that this is the woman he finds his peace in, and you guys want to save him from his happiness. Why? That's my question. Why do you want to save this man from his happiness?
Amaka, fear God. Does he look happy to you?
But Oga say he's happy now. And why are you to say he is not? And besides,
Natasha has finally married Twoface.
Wait, what?
No, I'm sorry, the way you asked it. No. See, okay. Now, I am not in their house. I don't know. They have the luxury. She's Honorable Natasha. He's Twoface, the legend. I know some of you might feel like he's just one come up artist, struggling come up artist because you find him in bar, loose gardens, singing, going to club from one state to state in Benin, it's almost looking like the legend has fallen or a confused upcoming artist. But I guarantee you, Baba is a legend. Okay? So he is a legend. So you get? So now, this man has told us a legend, mind you, which means he's trustworthy, has told us he's married to Natasha, even though I know there's no court proceeding that has shown that he has divorced his former wife, Idibia, that he has dashed back her maiden name, Annie Macaulay, right? I'm not discussing that or the fact that Baba legend, the legend has even forgotten he's an African man and decided that there's this hideous mark he would draw on his face to represent his Africanness, which made people even question him. I'm like, okay, sir, at this point, do you need saving? Yes, do you need saving?
We never questioned his Africanness. Is the new behavior and the state of his mental health. That was all we have been questioning.
Yeah.
And his safety, not his Africanness. And I think he's listening to too much nonsense.
Chai, legend, nonsense.
The guy is in his head.
Hey.
At this point, I'm asking, are you normal?
Hey, Nigeria, why are you? There are a lot of people here, okay? Let's respect his privacy.
But he brought it to the internet. He brought it here.
Anyways, moving forward.
No, Amaka, don't do that. We are not moving forward just like that. Because I think it's time people took responsibility. Even as a man, you take responsibility for your bullshit. You can't bring something here and then try to direct us on how we react on our emotion.
True that. And by the way, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No problem. You're my girl.
So, but to be honest, I get what you're saying. So what you're saying now is a thing of bad press, bad PR because he's not handling it well.
Exactly. And the guy is still talking. Can you be a man and handle your responsibility outside? And stop bringing this to the forefront. And I know I'm you're enjoying this whole thing. That's why you had to drag me out to come and do this without regarding my schedule. But it's
Wahala.
but the truth is now,
Hey, God.
it is so sad because I used to be a big fan. This Twoface now, you talk about him being a legend, but this Twoface now, I don't know about him. I don't know him. I don't want to claim him. At least, if not for anything, for the sake of our childhood memory. Protect that, man. And at least protect what is left of your children's integrity. If it doesn't necessarily, with plenty for year, men mount.
Yeah. I should leave my 5 to 6 job and come and be saving who? Someone that is happy. He's living his best life, Jerry.
Okay. What about that mark you talked about?
There's this, I don't know, there's this mark which some people feel like it's just like a fraternity mark. I don't know. To me, it looks comical at best, right? But it's a red and black mark. You see him beside in a car winking, like, I don't know. You know, when you the best way I can describe the wink is, you know those movies where you see them say blink one if you know you're safe, and you blink it, you get. So that was what it looks like. He was role playing or something, but he said that made him, like, he discovered that he's not connected to his roots, so he proceeded to, you know. Yeah.
Now I'm actually getting scared for too, Baba.
I mean, why should you be scared for him? This man clearly told you he's okay. Right? And you know what? I won't come here and pretend like I don't see it, because this is a guy this is a legend, right? I mean, used to, because, well, he's still a living legend. You know what? At the end of this podcast, we will figure that out together, okay? But now, just get with me. I'm still coming to terms with some people's outrage. I do get the validity, okay? Because he's looking like a content creator, figuring his step, right? And you know what? No, let's do it now. I think it's quite hypocritical. I think it's quite hypocritical and but interesting too, because some of you, they're championing him, like saying he's the emperor, the conqueror, the lion is here, right? And I think that's why people never even question his Africanness, because a lot of people in Africa believe that African men are polygamous in nature. Right, African men are polygamous in nature, so go out there, sow your wild oats. And why I entertained that, because if you watch my previous podcast, you see I've actually also talked about polygamy, right? That was my rough sketch, okay? I've talked about polygamy and, you know, on a broader scale, and talked about it when ethically and well, without ego leading. I don't shy away from that. But my problem is a lot of people, when they talk about polygamy, is all based on just their ego, not knowing whether they're mentally ready for that. But I've been digressing since, back to Twoface Idibia and his viral post that got internet shaking, that got even Daddy Face, the endorser of a lot of BS on behalf of men, right? And Face came out even surprised, wondering, even trying to call one of these pastors he's been bashing all this while to come and conduct a deliverance service, because this is how shook he is. So I'm trying to let you know I understand the concern, because the guy seems like he's stepping out from who he is. And if you don't get it, because some of you be like, okay, this man, the clip you listen to, like, this man is obviously apologizing to his wife. He might stutter, but yeah, it's part of it, right? It's part of it because he's stuttering, he's kind of incoherent. That's what people who are guilty do, okay, and he's clearly sorry. Oh, he's probably an intentional mouth. This is what you plan to. If you mess up, if you mess up, you have to apologize. Like, okay, of course I fucked up. We'll never fuck up hands in the air, right? That is the issue. And I want to think it's the issue because this is the man who has found his peace. If you found your peace, peace is very expensive. A lot of people don't have peace. A lot of people, they're scared to enter their house because they feel like the woman is nagging, she's crazy, she is demanding, she's probably a housewife, job, like all those things, right? So they don't have peace and they are in a bar. That is this one, even if he's in the bar now, being local bar, he is with the piece of his life, twerking and dancing on stage, performing, reminiscing on his old days. Probably wishing he started that with Natasha. Anyways, I digress again. That's beside the point, right? But I'm like, I feel like it's hypocritical now. People are coming out being concerned because I'm like, where were you when this guy said that he has found his peace? And I'm talking about those specifically who did not even come against him. His brother even came out and like read a whole letter about how he's a legend, how he's calculated, how he plays chess, not checkers. Now he's this guardian. Leave that woman. I'm like, this man is in peace. Like anytime people are complaining, I'll be like, this man is living his best life right now. I mean, you must be living for you to forgo your wife because normally, back to the polygamy, you are living your best life. Once you start, once you're willing to end your family, who you have started with, your beauty fallacy, how she's your African queen, you can go out there, sow your white oats, and she's the one you love. Because even when people don't talk about loving each other, it sounds like it is Anne that has been holding. You know, when they say our mothers, we are virtuous women, they were the women who held the relationship. Sometimes it means she was the only one carrying it on her head. Sadly, and we saw this nationally, right? See, one thing I like about Baba, and this is why I feel like he is with his sense, is that they asked him on the podcast, it's Nidu, like if he believes that as a man it's impossible to be faithful to your wife or the woman you love. And he was like, you know what, I've said it before and I will say it again, but this time around his leg was shaking. I've said it before that as a man, you can love one woman, move her to hell. I don't know why they keep talking about hell. What is it with hell? Does hell sound fun to you? Not if you're drinking and shaking ass, maybe. Damn, okay. So, I don't know why he went to hell, but literally, I feel like that was where he took on this past few years, and recently this year. Okay, I feel like she was at the height of that hell. But he was like, a man can love you to hell, but still, he will see another woman and go there. So, his post here is similar to what he said to Anne Idibia in their rich, young and famous reality TV show. This clip, if you have seen it, you could see that even Annie was disgusted. You could hear her saying, what? Is it just you or is general? And he was like, it's general. It's general for everybody. Why I think it's BS, because there are some men, why it says bad or tells so bad on men's poor character of self-discipline and control of themselves, right? Because there are some men who will keep it to their pants. Not even because of they care about the woman. It's more because, okay, maybe it's their religious belief, their respect and fear for God, right? Because they regard themselves, they want to respect themselves, right? They are disciplined and they uphold moral standard for their equal for their partner. There are some men like that. There are some men that like, okay, for themselves, once they marry, right? Once they are married and they have taken their vow, they're going to respect it. There are some men like that. And I want to believe not all men are dogs, but there are some odogus that champion him. Like, yes, we said it. Your mothers, they were polygamous. My mom, I mean, speak for yourself, okay? Speak for yourself. But, yeah, but talking and championing him, so there are some that will beg to differ. That's all I'm saying. But one thing I could understand is that, and over the years, Baba have been standing on 10 toes on this, that this has always been his rhetoric. He has never moved, like he's a standing stone that never shakes. Right now, the only thing I could notice if you watch Nedu's podcast, you see the clip and why Nedu was still asking him. You could see his legs were shaking as she was answering. Like the way he asked, it wasn't like, "Yeah, I'm the man here." And because I just want to focus on the demeanor. Okay. Let's play it side by side. You will hear the tone shift. Okay. The first one where he did the rich famous, like even when his wife was there beside him, asking him, like you know when sometimes men might say something they don't regard you, they will say it, but because you're there, they'll just adjust. No, he didn't care. This was the mother of his wife. Yeah,
The mother of his what?
kids.
Wife?
His married wife. I was like, I said what I said.
To his own wife.
Oh yeah, to his wife. He said that. But the body language now is different. A psychologist once said that when someone is talking based on the body's movement, you could tell if the person is either lying, saying the truth, nervous, or scared. It is just a tell sign. You have to know where to look at. You just have to pay attention. And if you pay attention close enough, you might just figure it out. And with the way he would lean in forward, he would move out, shake his leg. It was more like he was nervous. And even some of his colleagues are calling him to like, okay, like trying to help him. The psychologist beside him even tried to, call him out and call him back to his senses and be like, you literally might be hurting this woman. You claim you love. And he was like, yeah, he tried to double down, but he still said what he said. So he has been, and I think that's why I like him. See, I respect someone. One thing I'll tell you now, if I proceed, I respect someone who is consistent, be it in their bullshit, right? At least you know where you stand. People know who you are and can respect you for that. At least you're not a hypocrite. You're not a coward. Some people are cowards. They want something. They believe in something. But because they are scared of what people will say, they won't stand on 10 toes. Today, they'll go here. Tomorrow, they'll go there. Inconsistent. Confusing innocent thunder. Right? So, it's just the body language and the tone that was different this time around. But he still said what he said. Only for him to come back and started apologizing.
Yes, like you don't meet the single person.
Not just Shell, you know what? I respect you, girl. I don't know what you did, but I respect you.
Enjoying this thing, look at you.
All the men who really clamor for this peace to the point of destroying what they have just to get this peace, but they get the peace they want. Because some people are like, if this is peace, I don't want. Oh, how the tables has turned. I'm sorry. I did it at Choco. To the point that this got Daddy Free shook. He was like, the mighty has fallen. People are coming out. All the doggos from the woodworks, from every location, from their trip to Maldives with their side chick and their wife together, sustaining the lifestyle, all of them. They came out like, nah, bro, you have been representing us. Some of them like, you know what? I literally dumped my wife just because of you. I'm so much of a fan of you. And now you go there, you apologize to your wife. How dare you? Now, I think like people are not even questioning the current thing. Now, people are not even talking about how he was shaking and incoherent in his words, which, again, I understand if you're nervous, you kind of stutter, right? Like I do sometimes when I'm on this podcast, like you have no idea how hard it is. But what I was asking is, what is the location of that video? Because there was how I've been noticing this trend of standing in one corner and talking like you're facing somewhere. It's almost like you're walk of shame. But I don't know. Even I've noticed Atu is doing that method. The guy that started it, I don't know his name, but sometimes doesn't say very intelligent things like that. But I'm like, when he started it and he has been doing it consistently. See, and that's the thing I have to say, right? Consistency is key. I know even I don't have much followers like that, which by the way, if you're listening up to this moment, and I know I have to see my view increasing significantly, but the following has not been like that. What are you waiting for? Click the button, drop your review, because this helps me grow. Okay, so back to it, right? This man has been consistent in his posts, his method, and now he's almost creating a niche for himself that even celebs are copying. Before you knew it, they are facing one side. Okay, you know how but you have seen this clip of Twoface.
Yes, I've seen it.
Good. You know how he like face diagonal, almost like he's backing away from the camera, not necessarily because you could see one side of his face talking to himself. He's almost the best I can describe it is almost like you talking to the mirror on the wall. So he came out here, and when he was apologizing, he went on to apologize to Natasha and all. And honestly, I feel like Twoface has the right to be with who he wants to be with, right? Even though I get it that people are questioning, but some sane people are questioning how he left his wife. He left her in the lowest of lowest, which I've also covered. You could go listen to it, right? But he left Annie at the lowest of her lowest, and just went publicly, divorced her, not legally though, but out there. So he brought everyone to his business, and now people are commenting, and that's my problem. I'm like, bruh, you are old enough, okay? Once you do something, best believe that there are repercussions to it, there are consequences to every action you make. So you cannot come up here and do this to the daughter of the soil. Right? And expect not to get consequences, especially the way you did it. We didn't have to know. And yes, granted, there's no best time to divorce somebody. Yes, I know. It's always hot, especially if you're in it, especially if you've been doing ride or die, and you realize that you are the only one that crashed with your mental states completely depleted, right? But the good thing is, I like how Annie is coming out, how she's looking. She came out of that rehab. She came out looking strong, and of course you cannot, and again, please, not to say that she's completely recovered, because who will recover from such heartbreak? You know, who will recover from such heartbreak like that? It's almost unrealistic. I know we all want her to be on the best. Remember, she have gone through some ordeal herself. She have gone through she has been with him as a kid since she was 16. You expect those memories. She has bettered this child. She has gone through hell, literally. And I don't think she's back yet, probably at the midway, but she's definitely making it to the other side of the corner. And at this point, and I want to thank women too, the women who have been there for her, because of course, women have been pouring into her, but she's a pick-me. She's still a pick-me. She needs to go to therapy and properly heal and ask herself why she made those decisions. And it's understandable. I even talked about it on Vicky James when I covered the podcast on the reason why she does something she did. You notice that most pick-me, some of them are lacking. Some of them, I'm not saying all, right? Some of them, most of the times, once they lose a father figure in their life, a lot of time that void of wanting a man to take up that responsibility is always there, especially when that parental figure is not there to guide and protect you. So yeah, there are a lot of things that played into it, and she have lived with this trauma, and her mental health is completely not here. Okay, so hopefully with these women pointing to her, she find out the root of that, go through healing, you know, touch on those places that ache and try, because that's the problem, right? Women will point into you after you hit, you can go back to your old pattern. That's when the mess up will be there, you know. That's when the mess up will be there. But then again, hopefully she learns. And I know Annie have prided herself as the woman who was finally picked, the woman who stayed behind, the chosen one. But we know how to say, you play with dogs, you end with fleas. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And Twoface is enjoying this loud. You can't tell me anything. And Natasha, you see how the way she's enjoying him, like he is her candy, her trophy husband. How role changes, isn't it? And this is why I respect her. I'm like, girl, you is a dog race. I can't even hate on you, because the hell, like they say, it's a polygamous culture, right? So if the thing is coming to bite you on your ass because you couldn't control yourself, you couldn't respect yourself, then so be it. I'm never here to destroy a man's peace. What God have joined together, no man shall put it asunder. So and this is why I'm like, okay, Natasha have run and changed her name into Idibia. You have adopted name, right? Calling yourself husband. Well, anyway, she has money. See, in Nigeria, one thing I gotta give it to them is if you have money, you can bend the rule. A person when you get money, they follow rule for Nigeria. So who knows? And I mean, at the end of the day, he could be love. Could this be love? I don't know. He could be love because it obviously looks like. Because I mean, Twoface have never, ever defended Idibia the way he's defending Natasha. So it must be love. Okay? And who are you to come here and say it isn't? And I guarantee you, some people in his camp who are coming out shouting the loudest now, they are those who were applauding him when he was putting Annie through the same hell. And now you want me. Like, he's literally the same way Twoface Idibia's mom came and begged Nigerians, begged us from our house. We are trying to find 2 spare meal a day. Like, this.
Good evening, Nigerians. My name is Mrs. Rose Idibia. This message is for Miss Natasha Osauru of Edo State. I'm calling on all mothers in Nigeria to help me beg her to release or to free my son. My son is going through a divorce process and he's clearly not in his right senses. I know my son. This is not him. Please, Natasha, the bead you put on his hand and on his neck, remove them and free him.
See, Nigeria is Nigerian, okay? I don't know if he's Nigerian or not Nigerian. I don't know at this point. I'm in the state of dilemma, okay? But Nigeria is at a point it is now. And instead of me to focus and mind my business, I mean, I totally don't mind my business. Like, I know you don't mind your business, but hey, let's pretend like we're all minding business, okay? Stay with me, okay? So, yeah, I am all minding my business, and you're telling me to go bring your son who is in the arms, like going back to back, firing his wife. You want me to bring the man out? Like, why? Like, you totally failed in the job and you're expecting innocent Nigerians to do it. And some people actually did. Some people actually left their job. Some people even took excuses from the offices and said that they are sick. They are trying to help a sick brother or a sick sister. I mean, it felt like it was a state of emergency and went. After doing all those things, some were even sacked. Some were even thrown stone. You know, sometimes when you are trying to fight, when you are trying to separate couples while fighting, a lot of times they can use something, use pillow, blast your eye, then after they reconcile. Use you and say, look at Jage Waka. Then you waka there. You're coming here. Who are you to interrupt this love? They'll not call you the enemy of progress. These are the people fighting, disturbing the peace of the neighborhood, the peace of the online families and online in-laws, only for you to now reconcile. You won't even tell us you've reconciled. So yeah, after Twoface Idibia's mom came and begged Nigerians, and some who felt like they were still invested, because I washed my hands off when the man was like, okay, go out there proposing to her, you know, all those things. I washed my hands off. I'm like, you know what? Who cares? Right? But I was observing somewhere, because sometimes who is going to tell all the story? Someone has to tell all the story, okay? Someone has to be left alive. Someone should just be somewhere on the face, videoing all these things and come and tell you. And I feel like I am doing the Lord's work by staying off this and observing. But some people actually were brave enough to put their head, and when they put their head, they came back with injuries, only for them to be heartbroken seeing Natasha, Twoface mom, and Twoface jolly coming and laughing at Natasha and telling us some you put your mouth there. Oh yeah, now. That's why my mom warned me as a kid. Oh my God, God bless my mom. She said, Amaka, Anama, don't take it. Draw your ears, Amaka. Whenever you see people fighting, do not try to separate, because I'm too much of a peacemaker. You are too much of a peacemaker, right? But now I do it through via phone. I'm like, I call you now, I mediate. But don't go there to separate. You're very fragile. Don't break your head. And I cannot fight. So please leave me out of this. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that people are wrong for disturbing the peace of this happily married man? Only that we are begging you to, Baba, please. Please. Do the honorable thing. The legendary thing. And wait till the divorce is final. Because at the end of the day, and people were accusing him of his chain, her doing something to him that he's not acting normal. See, I think he's acting normal. I think he's acting very normal. I think he's at the stage where most men are, where they go through midlife crisis, perhaps out of the mess up, a lot of things they have done. You know, they just want to be happy. They want escapism, and they find it in the arms of another woman who probably haven't seen the world. I don't know. Maybe he felt like he's better out there, and he's messed up, and he's like, you know what? I've put in too much into this. Let's just go on with it. I mean, a man might be. I gotta get this out. Right? I feel like that is where he is and the state of mind he is now. But I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not psychoanalyzing him. I'm just being an observer, doing the Lord's work.
Amaka. You don't think he's not the first person to be polygamous?
I never said he is. And besides, he's not practicing polygamy here. He is just cheating and being caught in the act and doing a poor job covering his tracks. Okay? That is different.
So based on your observation now, do you think Natasha is winning?
Do I think Natasha is winning? That's a tricky question. I would say yes and no. I don't think any of them is winning. In fact, maybe the only person who is winning is Natasha. Because she has what she wants. She has a trophy husband, she has a good eye candy, and literally, she's dragging Twoface in the mud. Okay, she's dragging him in the mud. And I hate, I'm one person who will never infantilize men, right? Because he's not a baby. If he's bold enough and brave enough to live his many years of relationship and marriage and whatever mediocre version of love he was selling to the public and people bought it, and now he just chickened out without regarding the consequences it will do on him, even to because a lot of men are cowards, if I'm being honest. A lot of men, even when they're in marriages that they are not enjoying, maybe they are with the placeholder wives that they never were interested in. Maybe that was the wife their budget could get. Even a lot of them will still stick it through because you need to understand, men don't like one thing I've come to understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ibuka, men really do not like being the bad guy. Especially when it comes to the family. They don't mind being the bad guy in general, but when it comes to the family, because no one wants to associate with a man who broke his family.
Okay, yeah.
In the same community, I'm not talking about Nigeria here. Okay, I'm talking about Nigeria here because there's a reason why he was comfortable doing all those things he was doing to beside his wife, right? So yeah, that's my honest opinion and observation on this matter. So I go into all the story to say that Natasha is obviously in love with the legend, and right now, Twoface is not looking so legendary right now. He's looking more gradually being demoted into the place of a clown. And they've not even married yet. They're not married yet. As time goes on, I feel like she won't enjoy it at the point. There'll be a time it won't be so appealing to her again. And she's going to just move on. And I don't know if the suffering and enduring wife will come back. I don't know.
I don't really fear anybody. I don't really fear anything. I fear nothing. I don't really fear anybody. I don't really fear anything.
Amaka, sometimes we also notice most of these men who are into second wife association, or most of the men who have been leaving their wife issue, especially in Nigerian industry, Nollywood industry, they're not having so much of a happy ending. Talk about Redochi, talk about, just to mention a few.
Yeah, you hit that on the head, right? And even speaking of Yellow Duce, I really don't want to digress, but since you mentioned him, I think I need to touch on his matter extensively, and I think I could make up like 12 series from Yellow Duce and his brouhahas. But maybe on my next post, I will talk on that. But for now, it really hasn't been favorable for all the Odogus and the potential Odogus. I feel like another person who might be winning too would be Idibia. But maybe that is just me. And I come from the angle of, she have been through hell and back in that relationship of hers. It's innocent. Like, he did so much bad to her. He did she's dirty. And now she's free to grow. But I don't know if she is brave enough to walk away. Because when this thing crashes, because it will crash, it's only a matter of time. I don't know if she'll be brave enough to pick herself and say good riddance to bad rubbish. Especially now, I know what it means to be without you, because she was literally Twoface fan, not even his wife. She was his fan. And maybe Now, just for a second to play devil's advocate, maybe that was what Twoface was looking for. A wife. Someone to tell him, bro, you're messing up. And if that was what he did with Natasha, that she's not doing a good job. I mean, maybe she's telling him to go apologize. Like, bro, how dare you disrespect me by telling me that you will go out there and you will not protect my sanity? Like, you think I'm your wife? This is probably the conversation. Do you think I'm Annie who will take such trash? Come on, go and apologize.
Yes, you're true.
See, it's just me, okay? But maybe in that angle, she might be getting it well. But in terms of protecting his image, by the way, who are his manager? Where are Twoface PR? Who are the people who are managing his images? You guys are doing a bad job, a shitty job. And this is the importance of having those in your corner who will call you out on your BS. Not people who will just yes sir you, and sigh you into grave without even helping you. So how about you? Because I've not heard your thoughts fully. What do you think about this whole thing here? Do you think it's impossible for a man to love one woman?
I don't think it's impossible. But I think it's impossible for a man to truly love a woman and not be attracted to other women.
I think I see your point, because it's just like when men feel like, okay, once you've married a woman, you've locked her down, probably stigmatized her, she has no eye for other men, or she suddenly loses her sexual interest for every other man, and you are her word, you know? And that could be a lie. Okay, that is a big lie. So I get it, but then again, I'm not saying all women are sin, because there's some women who cheat, right? Because what is good for the gays is good for the gander. And I'm of that opinion. I'm like, you know what, everyone live your best fuck's life. But when it's hurting people you're with, don't claim you care about them. You know, don't care, because when you care about them, you sacrifice. Not even sacrifice. If you feel like you don't want to do it, you let the person go. Because let's be honest, not everyone can handle cheating. I don't think human beings are jealous. Like, how do you expect to hurt a woman and she will not feel jealous? Like, and when she start acting based on what you did, you start blaming her for reacting to what you did, for the hurt you gave her. Like, do you think she's a log of wood, or do you think she's so inhuman that she cannot feel pain? Let's be honest, human beings are jealous. Even people that are not in a marriage or in a relationship, an intimate relationship with one another. Let's say, for instance, you go to a car dealer, or that woman you buy rice from in the market, you notice you're probably in another person's shop buying. In fact, right now, currently, there's a woman in the market that is beefing because there's this other lady. She sells better ogbono than her. Alright, I noticed she was beefing. Whenever I come back to her, she would beef me on my cut. I had to cut up. I'm like, I'm not here for this. I'm spending my money to buy something on myself, so I get the best. But I understand that. I just didn't care enough, right? But sometimes you notice you even be hiding, because I was hiding. But when she cut me, I'm like, you know what? There was the cuts. So, and I cannot come here because she probably might be giving me the worst now. Now that you know that I ain't loyal like that. And I love myself, so I had to do the reasonable thing. I stick to the word I know that was good for me, right? So it happens like that. Talk more of someone who you're married to, you've given your whole life to, you have been made a fool numerous of times, and you have been that woman who stayed and waited for her man because you felt like, well, after all his philandering, he comes back to me. I'm the wife, I'm the chosen one. You know, so yeah, it backfired. It's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying it's unrealistic for people to feel like, oh, the woman shouldn't feel it. So let's be honest, okay? If there's one thing we're gonna do is to fucking be for real, okay? So yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Twoface is in trouble? He needs saving, or are you among those people that feel like, you know what, save him from who? From his best life? Or are you also part of those people that feel like, you know what, Natasha, you're the best karma that happened. Like, we like you. At least, if you might not get the best of the legend, enjoy your arm candy, because I'm like, you know what, girl power, girl, do you? And see, ladies, money's sweet though. Money's sweet. See, make your money. Make your money so I can use someone's song like this. I'm kidding. But yeah, this is the end of my story. Today was completely off script, but I just wanted to drop it out there. I feel like we need to have this conversation, you and I, okay? Till I see my next post. Bye for now.